everybody. Welcome back to Gone Outdoor Radio. You're listening on Kello News Talk or KWSN in Sioux Falls or the Mighty 790 in Fargo, Moorhead, and surrounding communities. Scotty Brewer, Kyle Agri, Brewer Agri Outdoors, and we are going to chat with a friend of ours, Mr. Sam Sommerness. Sam is our rod expert, one of our rod experts. We got a few of them. Sam happens to work for Elliott Custom Rods and 2B. How you doing, Sam?
I'm doing great. I get to talk with you guys on this fine Monday.
We get
Can't
to talk.
complain at all.
We get to talk fishing. All right. So,
Yep.
Sam, you've been spending much of the time talking fishing, helping anglers, ice anglers pick out the best rod for how they fish. What are some of the top considerations for anybody that's out looking for a new ice fishing rod this winter?
Well, we came out with a new one this year. It is the Riponize XL. It is a 36-inch heavier size rod. It's just a longer version of our classic Riponize XL for those guys that are also really loving their long rods, kind of going along with the rest of our ice rods. As you can see, well, as you can't see, we're on the radio, but most of our rods are anywhere from 45 to in that 30 range. We don't really have anything shorter than that. The reason for that is the longer rods, you get more pressure, you get a little bit more control, you can save your knees. You're not hole hop like when you're hole hopping, you're not kneeling down as much. The other new one, well, I shouldn't say new, but my favorite last year was the Mega Nude. I had that one locked in my hand all year. That's a 31 or 38-inch panfish rod in the 2B line. So if there's two rods I were going to say check out, I'd say the Mega Nude and the Riponize XL.
Sam, as you're talking to folks and a lot of this is there's so much in the whole lineup. If we look at options, right? There's different models, there's different actions, different lengths. What are the questions you're going to ask somebody to help narrow down that selection, right? Is it what kind of fish? Is it where you fish? Is it the lure, the presentation tactic you use? What's really the big one that sort of starts to funnel down our options?
Well, the first thing I'll ask someone is their personal preference. Do they like a shorter rod or do they like a longer rod? And then from there, I'm able to get them into maybe a 34 or a 32 or a 30-inch. Or if they tell me that they like a longer rod, I can get them into something all the way up to a 44. So it's kind of whatever that the person wants, because at the end of the day, 80% of fishing is personal preference. So we try and cater to that to have a rod for everybody.
Hey, Sam. So, what about the angler that, let's say, all they've used are shorter rods, 30-inch rods, and they've never used a longer rod? They're going to say their favorite is a 30 because that's what they're used to. That doesn't mean that a longer one isn't going to be better for them.
100%. I know personally, like when I started using longer rods, it was a little bit of an adjustment, and my hook set was no longer this big swinging arm motion and trying to get my hand up to the reel and then reel down and get all this, like get back out my slack. You really narrow it down to basically a flick of the wrist and your hand's right there on the reel. You have complete control all the way up to the hole. You can kind of bully those fish almost to when their nose gets just under, but they're not quite coming up. You can kind of give them a little bit more of a lift and then get their head in the hole. So I highly recommend for the people that aren't restricted to fishing in tight flip overs or tight hard houses to try a longer rod.
It's definitely worth the option just to give it a try, no doubt about it. But one of the things that really you alluded to it, Sam. You talked about control, and one of the things that really got me to try the Elliott rod the first time was hearing the story about Sin Cork. This is a feature that's unique just to Elliott rods. Can you just share that with our listeners? Because I think it's really cool, and it makes a difference in terms of how that rod feels in your hand.
Oh, 100%. It's much lighter than your normal like uh, orange or gray, like your traditional cork. But it's also more dense. So what that means is you're going to get a better transfer from that carbon blank or fiberglass blank up through the handle into your hand. Meaning when it's super cold or you have gloves on or a fish really light bites that bait, you're still going to feel that. Or like I like to say, you're really going to know when your minnow head falls off. Or like sometimes you can tell if your bait's messed up, like it's not hanging horizontal, getting as much drag as it should. So that's really where it shines, specifically in our open water rods.
Sam, what I love most about Sin Cork is the feel of it and the fact that that texture, it doesn't make your rod slippery once you get a little fish slime or minnow slime or your hands get wet. It really helps with the grip. All right, so what's the next question you're going to ask somebody besides the rod length? Are you going to ask them about what type of fish they fish for, or are you going to ask them what size of lures they plan on using it
The first kind of question I'll ask them is like, kind of a big question is going to be like, what's your go-to lure? Are you like for the walleye guys? I go, are you a eighth to a quarter, like rattling, like shiver spoon? Like what do you like to do? And then from there, I can assess. Well, if they're going to go with a really big bait, well, I can recommend them a little bit heavier rod just to match that bait because you don't really want to match your rod to the size of fish because if you use an oversized rod and an undersized hook, you're going to bend it out and vice versa. So you try and match the rod to the bait to the angler, whichever the angler wants to use most. Like if you're going to buy a quality rod, you're going to want to use it the most. So whatever bait you use most, that's what the rod we're going to try and get you with.
And that makes total sense to me, but a lot of people don't quite understand that. I mean, if I tell them I'm going to use this light rod, it might have a really good backbone with a really light tip. That's because I use it for a really small bait. I might be fishing for walleyes or for crappies or sunfish with that really small bait, but that could be my walleye rod, depending on the bait that I'm using, not necessarily based on the species. Because as long as that rod is built right, you'll still be able to get that fish in no problem.
Yeah, I mean that's why you see guys catching, big 40-inch pike on a little tiny panfish jig when they go fishing because all it takes is time and patience and a good drag,
Yep.
and you can fight basically any fish on any rod. So
All right.
if you
So
do go fishing with an undersized rod for walleyes, you're just going to have even more of a fun fight.
So you guys have two different rod brands. You have the Elliott rods and you have 2B rods. To the untrained guy, you look at them first, and price point is really going to be the first thing they notice. But why is there a difference?
Well, for our Elliott rods, you're just going to see a higher quality graphite blank along with the Syncork material. You're also going to get a little bit longer of an accidental breakage program with us. So if you were to purchase a rod and say you close in the car door, your kid plays lightsabers with it, whatever might happen, you can get a brand new rod for 60% off in the first year. It's fishing, stuff breaks, we get it. We want to keep a rod in your hand, and we're willing to work with people on making that happen.
All right, Sam, we really appreciate you coming on Gone Outdoors and filling us in on quality fishing rods. No matter what brand they buy, hopefully we're giving them a good enough education where they can go out and pick what works best for them. If people want to find out more about the two rod brands that you have, Elliott or 2B, where can they get that info?
Well, they can find us on social media, Instagram or Facebook, or they can go to our website, acmetackle.com, and go look at all of the different brands that we have under our umbrella, along with the Elliott and 2B lines. So acmetackle.com is where I'd say go.
Perfect. All right. Thank you very much, Sam. This is Sam Sommerness. Thanks a lot, buddy, and hope you have a great winter this winter.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. I think I'm going to get on the ice here soon.
Stick around. We'll be back with Gone Outdoors after this short break. Looking for somewhere to get all your fishing information in one place? onX Fish Midwest has something for you. Search for new fishing areas with filtering features such as species, abundance, trophy potential, lake survey info, regulations, and area insights are just a click away.
Getting to your target lake has never been easier with access points and public land ownership clearly marked on onX Fish. Mark and customize waypoints and weather for your exact location. Use code BA Outdoors to get 20% off onX Fish Midwest at onxmaps.com.